Well, praise Yah. We're here again. I think I'm set up. Got a message for you today from the Most High, and He is answering my question that I had, and I really do believe He's going to answer your question that you have regarding the violence that we're seeing right now against people of color. Call them African American, Yasserelites. I was very distressed about it. I know we were out from under the curse, and I'm listening to these COVID deaths, and I'm listening to the news as far as the so many young black, I should say, young people being shot or strangled or kneed to death. So I went into a quiet time with Yah, and I guess, well, I won't say quiet time as if it's some ritual. No, I'm His prophet. I was just laying down resting one morning after I had asked this question of Him: what's going on with the deaths and the the lies about deaths and the killings that seems to be an organized vendetta of some type going on against our people. And I was disturbed because I didn't have a word from the scriptures about it. And that's how Yah talks to me through His word mainly. So a little while after I had asked that question of our Father, Yahuwah, He gave me a word, and I listen to usually every day, every night when I go to bed. I put the word on, and to feed my subconscious while I'm asleep, because there's not a time when we don't need the word, and I need to hear His voice. So I put on the word, and there's a few times that happens when I hear a distinct sound. And then I know I'm to pay attention and stand at attention is what I did when I heard this word out of 2nd Baruk. You want to get Baruk, the lost scriptures, it's there. It's in the Sefer. You can go online and pull it up, 2nd Baruk. We're going to be in the 27th, 28th, and 29th verse. I'm hoping I can get this done in one setting. And won't have to do a break for parts. I'm hoping I can do that. But I want you to get that chapter 27, 2nd Baruk. And we're going to read the answer that Yah gave me in my deep concerns about this particular, seems to be a type of killing field. The police, and so seems like, and I think they just found out this police officer that just struck a young man dead with his knee in his neck belonged to a supremacist group. But regardless of all of that, I needed to know what Yah was saying about all of this, and you need to know. Because you need to be encouraged, you need to have some stability about what you are believing and how you're believing it. And so Yah is our Father, and He has given us these answers. I want you to listen. In the 27th chapter, it's going to read a little different. If you can get a hold of the Law Scriptures, I'll give you that title and the author. When I go to, because I was looking at the book, The Lost Books of the Bible, The Great Rejected Text by, his name is Joseph B. Lumpkin. Because you're not going to find some of the words that I'm going to use in the Sefer. And in fact, I've ordered this one as well. But I wasn't going to let that stop me because I have it in audible form, not in book form, this particular book. So I'm going to go ahead and order it in book form as well, because it reads differently than the Sefer and any other 2nd Baruk I have found. And it's important that it's read this way, okay? Because we need to understand it, and this helps us to see the meaning of this word in a more clear and concise way. But before we get started, let us pray. Please let us pray. We need the guidance of the Most High and His set-apart Spirit. Father, Yahuwah, we come to you in the name of Yahusha, and we ask you, Father, to guide this message to your people, to encourage, to lift up, to strengthen. We know this word comes at a time when it's so necessary, so needed, so much frustration in our communities, Father, for the violence that's being perpetrated against us. But Father, you said 400 years has been served, and we need to understand why this is going on. And Father, you have given us the answer, of which I tend to, I'm going to attempt to share with your people. But with your help, I won't even attempt it. It shall be done with your strength, with your power, in your spirit. We give you the praise. We give you the honor and the glory. May all confusion be dispelled. And may there come a sharp awakening in those that have embraced this knowledge of the end times. We give you all the praise. Amen. I'm going to entitle this message to you, The Consummation of the Times. The consummation of the times. The consummation of things that have gone and things that are approaching in order to turn over this system that we've been living under duress and oppression for all these thousands of years. 400 years here, but there's been much disparity for many more years than that, since 70 AD to be exact. But here we are, getting ready for the big handover, where Esau Edom is leaving out, and Yehuda, Yasarel, is coming in. There is being, in front of your eyes, you'll see a consummation. This is the day of consummation. Don't be shaken. These things must come to pass. Let us read something that'll encourage your heart. Again, it's not going to be verbatim, because you will find it in the Lumpkin book that I gave you. All right. 27:1, 2nd Baruk. And he answered and said unto me, into 12 parts, or pieces, or sections, is that time divided. What time? The time of consummation, the day of consummation. He says, and each one of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. The sections of time where certain things have been planned by Yahuwah, and they will go forth as planned in each section or each slice of time. I'm looking at your verse 2 or 3, depending on which rendition of this sefer you have. In the first part, or the first section, peace. And that's what's missing from here. So I want to let you know it is written. Peace. There shall be the beginning of commotions. Now listen to this. In this first section, peace. Then shall be the beginning of commotions. Next verse. In the second section, it says part here, but it's section. There shall be slayings of the great ones. The the great ones. We know now who are the great ones. Those of renown, those of reputation, those those that are leaders, those that are influencers. 4. In the third section, the fall of many by death. But before you get into that, you have to see the word that's missing. The word that's missing is, and in the third section, peace. The fall of many by death. Doesn't make sense, but we're going to keep reading. In the fourth section, peace. The sending of the sword or war. In the fifth section, peace. Famine and the withholding of rain. In the sixth section, peace. Earthquakes and terrors. In the seventh section, peace. Wanting, need for food. This is not written in the Sefer. Water and shelter. In the eighth part, peace. A multitude of spectres and attacks of the Sahavdin, or the Shadizin, or I can't say this word. Shada'im, because it's not a true Hebrew word, number one. But anyway, the spectres, S-P-E-C-T-R-E-S, just stands for ghost or spirit. And the attacks of evil spirits, that is S-H-E, Shada'im or Shadim, yes, that's it, Shadim, which is evil spirits. But remember, before he says that, he says peace. Let's go on. He says, in the ninth part, peace, the fall of fire. In the 10th part, rapine, or someone taking your property by violence. Rapine, R-A-P-I-N-E. Taking of property by violence. And much oppression. And in the 11th section, peace. Wickedness and unchastity, which means heathenism. Heathenism. And in the 12th section, peace. Confusion from the mingling together of all those things that have been spoken of afore. We just finished mentioning. Now, a mingling. You look in Revelation, you'll see the same thing going on with the plagues, with the signs of the times there as well. It goes on to say, for these parts or slices of that time, Pacific time, are reserved and shall be mingled one with another and minister. That word is not strong enough. That word is reinforce. Reinforce one to another. So each calamity reinforces the other, not minister, reinforces. For some shall, this is 15, some it'll be 16. For some shall leave out some of their own and receive in its stead from others. And some complete their own and that of others, so that those may not understand who are upon the earth in those days. What days? The days you're living and breathing in right now. in those days that this is the consummation of the times. This is that time of shifting. This is the time you're living in. There's going to be commotion. There's going to be unrest. There's going to be, why? There's a changing of the guard going on, saints of the Most High. There is a changing of the guard. And if you think Satan is just going to roll over and play dead as we rise in power and they demise in their power and population, well, you're mistaken. And that's what you're seeing all over this earth. We're going to get back into some more, but I'm going to finish reading the whole scripture. 28th chapter. Nevertheless, whosoever understands will or shall then be what? Wise. The understanding of this consummation period in the earth's timing, it will not be understood. So stop letting your mind be carried away with all the theories and all the propaganda, all the lies, all the confusing information that's going on out there about the virus and manipulating the news. They call it the fake news. And don't get wrapped up in men's conversation. They are in the dark. They do not understand what is clearly happening to those who understand the word of the Most High and have been given the precious gift of wisdom through the set-apart spirit. Those who say they know don't know why this is going on. And the things are getting worse all over the earth and will continue because there is a consummation going on. Nevertheless, whosoever understands shall then be wise, for the measure and reckoning of that time, this time, are two parts or pieces or two sections. It's coming in two sections. Oh yes. A week of 7 weeks, two sections of a week of 7 weeks. Now when you look at that, don't go out and get that, I'm going to talk about fake news, that fake calendar. You are not talking about your literal calendar days. But these are simply meaning that Yah has set a specific time in this time we're living in to allow certain things to be carried out in the earth in order to bring about the consummation that he promised, that in the end it would be Jacob, Yasarel, and we would take the place of Edom, Esau, Edom. This is what you have to remember. Now listen to this. And I answered, Baruk is speaking, and I answered and said, it is good for a man to come and behold. It is good to be left behind to see these days. We talked about it's a good thing to be left behind. People don't want to really get into that too much, but because you're going to see that you're seeing the wonders right now before your very eyes that Yah promised. Only with your eyes will you see what? The reward of the wicked. Mm-hmm. And I answered and said, it is good for a man to come and behold, but it is better that he should not come, lest he fall. In other words, if you're not strong enough to handle it, it's best you don't see it. Because it's going to be tough to see. It's tough to see your people harmed. But they really aren't. I'm going to show you who they are. Just because a person's skin is dark and you feel threatened because you could be next, don't do it. Because if you belong to the Most High, and I know my listeners out there, you do. You understand who you are and where you came from and who you belong to. This message is to sustain you. Mm-hmm. Everyone with dark skin is not your brother. I'm going to read some things. It's going to be a bit disturbing to you, but it's the word. And you must lock onto it and hold it. Hold it for your dear life. He goes on to say in the fourth verse, but I will say this also, will he who is incorruptible despise those things which are corruptible? You're the incorruptible people. You have taken on Yahusha in his blood. You are the incorruptible seed of the Most High. Are you going to be disturbed by what's going on with the corruptible? And whosoever befalls in the case of those things which are corruptible, whoever is being weakened or falling for what's going on in the corruptible material, carnal, fleshly world, or getting upset, wanting to burn, wanting to fight back, wanting to shoot, wanting to cuss out, this is not going to be our way out of here. The only way we have is through the door called Yahusha, who came and redeemed his own. Goes on to say, so that he might look only on those things which are not corruptible. So, in other words, let's be in a position where we're not being swayed by the corruptible, by the news, by opinions, by all these theories going around, all this carnal information. People are just confused, don't know what's going on. But it's the time of the consummation. When a couple comes together, they consummate their marriage by coming together as one. We, the people of the Most High, are coming together as one, and it's almost here. From all over the earth, Yahusha is bringing us in to be one mind in him. Let's go on. So it says, verse 5, it could be 6 in your sefer. But if, O Yahuwah, those things shall assuredly come to pass, which you have foretold to me, says Baruk, so do you show this also unto me, if indeed I have found grace in your sight. So this was a privilege. This is a privilege, the elect of the Most High, dear children of the Most High, a privilege to see, though it may not sense or you feel like it's a pleasure. It's seeing the wonders that's the pleasure, seeing the word coming to fruition. This is the joy. Goes on to say that, O Yahuwah, those things are surely come to pass which you have foretold to me. So do you show this also unto me. Indeed, I found grace in your sight. Is it one place or in one of the parts of the earth? Is it in certain countries? Is it in one particular place or many other places that those things are come to pass? What things? The things we just read in verses 2 or all the way down to 13 or 14. Okay, and what he's saying is all of these things have taken place throughout the whole earth from beginning after the fall. Commotion has taken place. We know that. We know that there's been slayings of great ones. Abel was killed. We know that there has been many that have fallen asleep. We know that. Those are the saints of the Most High. We also know that many deaths have occurred within our ranks, our people, our communities. The sending of the sword. Sending of the sword means coming after you with violence, taking you captive, killing you, raping you, those things. Don't forget what's happened throughout the earth. This has happened, not just to us, but also these things have happened throughout the earth. But listen to this. The sending of the sword, the famine, and withholding of rain. All of these things have been going on here and there around the earth, all right? Earthquakes, terrors, multitude of of demons running loose like gooses, as my husband would say, convincing men that are wicked to do more wickedness, to take advantage of the ignorant. We know that people have been taken as property in the most violent manner possible. Look at the Atlantic slave trade. We have been oppressed, and people have been oppressed all over the earth. Listen to this, and the 12th part. And you notice there's 12 parts. Well, we know that always represents who? Yasarel. Yasarel. All right, and confusion from mingling together all these things. But now, here's the thing where the confusion's coming in now. This isn't just happening. We know bubonic plague had its place in the earth's history. Different plagues, swine flu, wars, First and Second World War. I mean, there's been wars, Korean War, Japanese War. I mean, there's been wars, and there have been things going on for centuries and years that fall into this category. But this is the difference. It's the mingling. It's the coming together of all of these things in one slice of time that hasn't been done. You can hear when there's a horrible situation, or let's say an earthquake or a tsunami. Earthquakes bring tsunamis, earthquakes, and something devastating. People will always on the news and weather channels tell you, well, always look for a date when something like that happened in the past, right? They do that. Oh, yeah, we had the same kind of a storm back in 1952. Oh, we haven't had that since 1974. Oh, we see, back in 50 years ago that happened. We had the same thing happen about 5 years ago. Well, let me tell you what they're doing. They are zeroing in on one item. We had a horrible storm here a couple of years ago. We had a horrible hurricane or tornado here about 3 years ago. That's what they do to say that this is common. But you know what isn't common? The mingling is not common, because the mingling is your sign of the time of consummation, the day of consummation. Everything listed, everything that's spoken has always happened. Remember when Yahusha said that it's going to be like a woman in labor pain. It's going to, labor, it gets more intense and closer together. Those pains get more intense and closer together right before the birth of the child. Well, that's what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sisters and brothers. This age of consummation is bringing on hard labor. Closer together, which is a mingling of all of the above in such a way as it's confusing. Before we can get over COVID, the storms are brewing out there on the Atlantic. Before you can get over the COVID, dams are breaking. Earthquakes are shaking. There's no rest for the weary and no rest for the wicked. Happening all at once. That's what mingling means. That they can't say has happened before. All right, let's go on. Where was I here? And goes on, it says in, I think 6th verse, is it in one place or in one other part of the earth that those things are come to pass? Now here's the question here. Or will the whole earth experience them? Let's get his answer, because we know the answer because of what we just read, but let's go on. Well, no, let's just stop and say what we understand it. Will the whole earth experience this? This is the difference. Yes, the whole earth is going to experience all of these things. No one's going to be left out of this consummation period. Nobody going to be left out of the mingling of all of these strong earthquakes and all of these, the fire falling from. People did say the fire came from, here in California, we had those very strange fires that took houses to ash as if it didn't exist almost, and left the trees standing. Fire comes from heaven, you know. You can call it lightning if you like. And you can also call it pillar of fire. Ask Elijah about that when he called down fire from heaven. Fire does come from heaven. Well, who created fire? Everything here is created by the Most High. He can use whatever element he desires to do the works that he wants to do. Let's go on, though. 29th chapter, and the last chapter we'll be dealing with for today. And he answered and said unto me, listen carefully, saints. Whatsoever will then befall the whole earth. every country will be involved, no matter how small the country, how out of the way that country is, or how large and in your face that country is. All the earth will experience the mingling of these signs and troubles. Let's go on, because this one is the most mind-boggling one of all. So he says, all, underline that in your scriptures, everybody, okay? Therefore, all who live will experience, if you live and breathe, then you're going to experience these things. Them. For at that time, I will protect only those who are found in those self-same days in this land. What does he mean in this land? In the land of physical land, the land of spiritual. Because remember, we are clay vessels. We are land in ourselves that have been redeemed. We are the redeemed of Yahuwah through the bloodshed of Yahusha. So, he's being particular on who he will protect or preserve. He's not going to protect someone because their skin is dark. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He's going to protect those who are obeying Yahweh. That's the real word for law. It's not. That's European. It's Yahweh. He is going to protect those who are obeying his commandments. Do not kill. Do not steal. Obey your. Respect your parents. Put no one above Yah. Love him with all your heart, mind, and soul. When you are obedient to his Yahweh, you will be protected. When you love him with your heart, mind, and soul, you will be protected. Everybody with dark skin and maybe a Yahwehite may not be. But just because they're that, he already told you many of them will pass. Many will die. Many. And I know it still bothers us because we're the same color. But let me tell you something. We got to get out of that, because we're going to miss something. And then we're going to be vulnerable ourselves. Because whatever Yah wants to do, we have to agree with our Father. We don't fight him and we don't go against what he says. He says, I'm going to read it again. For at that time, this is a specific time that we're living in, the time of the consummation, I will protect only. Please underline only. Those who are found in those self-same days in the land of Yasharel, if they're there, and wherever we are located in the four corners of the earth. Because he said we would come and awaken in these strange lands, strange country. When you are found, you are not strange land. Where you are may be strange, but you are not. I had a vision. It came to my mind. I saw a dark, dark earth with no light except the little small lights and clusters all over the earth. It was beautiful. And I knew who those clusters of lights belonged to. They were the Yashwalites that had been scattered. But yet we had a line you could not see. That bloodline is there. And we are family. No matter what country you find yourself in. No matter where you travel, where you go, we are connected as the children of the Most High through the blood of Yahusha. Goes on to say, and it shall come to pass when all is accomplished. Listen to this. What is it? All and what is accomplished? When the consummation has been completed. All right? When the consummation has been completed. Yah knows that time of that day and that week and that hour and that slice of time and that piece of time. He said, it shall come to pass when all is accomplished. that was to come to pass in those parts, in those sections, in those slices of time, that the Messiah, Hamashiach, shall then begin to be revealed. And you see where we are right now. This transition has to take place because it's the last step. Hallelujah. The last step before our... Now, he didn't say he was going to appear suddenly at this particular point yet. But he said he's going to be revealed to his people. Yes. Yes. Because in the knowledge of Messiah, we're going to reveal him in the earth, because that will be the time when we shine, outmaneuver, outsmart. Because the Spirit says this is that time of consummation when there's going to be a shift. Esau, Edom is out. And Yasharel is in. And you don't think that that transition will glorify our Father? Yes. This is the point. This is the whole point. I'm going to stop there because I could go on to Behemoth and Leviathan and how Yah's going to feed us in this time. Well, maybe I should because you need to know this too. Because we're going to be in a very safe place as he is being revealed. We're going to be taken to our land. Not somebody putting us on a jet and shipping us off. They're not going to get no glory for this. This is the Yah's work, and it's marvelous in our sight. But let me tell you how we're going to be taken care of. Listen to this. He says he's going to be revealed to who? To us, to Yasharel. And Behemoth shall be revealed. Also, he's going to be revealed from his place, and Leviathan shall ascend from the sea. These two great monsters, which I created on the 5th day of creation, and shall have kept until that time. And then they shall be for food for all that are left. The earth also shall yield its fruit 10,000-fold. There's going to come a time, and I really believe this is that 1,000-year peace, that Yah is going to take care, feed his people. There's going to be plenty of food from the land and from the sea. And then he says the fruit is going to be grow 1,000-fold. On each vine there shall be 1,000 branches, and on each branch shall produce 1,000 clusters. And each cluster produce 1,000 grapes, and each grape produce a core of wine. Do you know what one grape to produce a core of wine means? One grape? Let me tell you what it means. A core is a unit of measure, approximately 517 pints. One grape. That's going to be a huge grape. All right, remember the promise. Remember when the children, our ancestors were going into the promised land, and they brought back those huge grapes. They were going to be larger than those, and it frightened them because they were giants in the land. Picked those grapes. Can you imagine a grape? Each grape produced a core of wine, or 517 pints. And those who have hungered shall rejoice. Those who have been waiting on the Most High, those who have been waiting for this time, listen, don't hang your head down, y'all. Lift your head up. Your Father has drawn nigh to you, and with him, he brings recompense to those who have harmed you, those who have oppressed you. Edom's time is over. Listen to this. He said, those who are hungry shall rejoice. Moreover, they shall behold marvels every day. Every day we are seeing miracles and marvels. Every day. Don't look at the stuff that's going to depress you. Look at the stuff that's going to lift you up. because they're happening all around you. They're happening every day. For wind shall go forth from before me to bring every morning the fragrance of aromatic fruits. Think about that. We're going to be in a place where we're going to be feasting while hell is going on outside. And at the close of the day, clouds distilling the dew of health. You're talking about health. There will be no sickness at that time at all. And it shall come to pass that at selfsame time that the treasury of manna shall begin descend from on high. Descent from on high. We're going to be fed with manna again. And they will eat of it in those days, because those years, because these are they who have come to the consummation of time. I'm going to rest it right there. Saints of the Most High. And talk to you earnestly. This is the time to hold on to his word. Get out of these conversations with the world, or people that claim to know Yahuwah but want to get so involved with all these fear tactics and strategies of the world and their explanations for everything. They don't know nothing. This is that time, the consummation of time. And you don't have any worries. Listen, your cupboards should be full. Your health should be reasonable right now. Really, should be actually pretty good at this point. If you're really walking in this marvelous light, you are light. Right now, there is no need among those who are putting their trust in him. He said, I have met all of your needs according to my riches and glory. I've even given you all spiritual gifts. You're not lacking in anything, saints, elect of the Most High. So don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. Your Father is here. He is taking command of things. Stay under the shadow of the Most High. He has you protected, but only you. Think about it. Awesome. And we talked about this COVID stuff, this corona. I said, y'all showed me it's not for you. Your name's not on it. It's not for you. So don't get distressed. Don't go do foolish things, of course, but don't break the law. But it's not your disease. It's a disease, but it's not yours. The children of the Most High, the Israelites back in the day under Pharaoh. We're under Pharaoh now. But back when Moses came to liberate the people, there were people of Yasharel, read it for yourself in Jasher, who decided they didn't want to do what Moses wanted them to do. They wanted to do their way. So they died. They buried them quietly. They didn't make a scene to the world. Let's don't make scenes to the world. There are going to be a lot of us that's going to pass one way or another. Don't make a scene because y'all said so. We're not saying, we're not going to, I won't say we're not saying, but a lot of us will not make it to that promised land that we just got through reading, when new manna will fall and where there be fragrance of fruit and grapes, 517 one grape pints of wine. You know, there's a place we're going to, escorted by who? By his wonderful messengers. You call them angels, but they're the messengers of the Most High. No man will take credit for this. This will be the time of 1,000-year reign is approaching now. Then the great tribulation, you see. So, you be encouraged. Stop mingling with people that don't have faith. And understand you're living on top of everything because you're in the hand of the Most High, your Father, Yahuwah, and you have no reason to be anxious, No reason to fear, for he is with you always, even until the end of the consummation period and the earth. The earth or the world system as it stands. You are not alone. I love you, and may Yah continue to shine his face upon you. Give you courage and strength in this time where you can be his light to so many that are going to need it. So many will have questions just for you. And you, being wise, will be able to answer. This is the day of consummation. Until next time, go with Yah. Why? He certainly goes with you. Take care and shalom. Bye-bye.